On today's Minute of the Apes, we kind of all three realize we got to get back to talking apes, or Sean may have to spend the night here.
I got to go to work tomorrow.
They greenlit the sequel without a story in mind. They just wanted to equal an unexpected gold mine. He said, oh no, as Heston said, I got to go. These are just some of the facts you ought to know as we go. Beneath the Minute of the Apes. Beneath the Minute of the Apes. Beneath the Minute of the Apes.
The only good human is a dead human.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet 8 movies 1 minute at a time. I'm Todd. I've got Richard and Sean.
Yo.
Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday.
We're at minute 79. It is Thursday. We're cooking along, but to keep things rolling, Sean, tell us what's going on with minute 79.
All right, we're going to start minute 79 with Brent in Organa.
Organa.
Ongarod. I got it.
I really did look at you thinking you'd forgotten Nova's name. I forgot what minute we're in, but...
No, it starts with Brent and Oregano looking at each other and ends with Brent saying that they tried to make me kill her.
All right, here it comes. Minute 79 of Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
How could we hope to let you go on the eve of war, Mr. Brent? You know too many of our secrets. Like your friend.
Taylor. You're Brent.
My God, Taylor!
How in the hell did you get
I
here?
got here the same way you did. Spaceship, Ape City, subway.
By yourself?
No, Nova found me.
No, is she with you? Where?
I don't know where she is. They separated us. They were trying to make me kill her.
And as of minute 79, we've got 3 living humans, a psychor telepath, 4 dead humans, 1 dead ape, a shrewdness of apes, and a gaggle of humans. So I think you brought this up in the last minute. It did look like the telepath was looking at Brent, nodding his head, and they forgot to put in the sound effect, and Brent forgot to act like he was in pain.
Did it not? Because Ongarod gets, and I'm going to be the only one that always remembers his name, but Ongarod does. Ongarod. He does look.
Ongarod again?
No,
Ongarod again.
That's it.
I'm going to remember it. Ongarod again.
So Ongarod does a little nod. Brent does nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
And we don't understand what the second means. I mean, it's like that passes and you're kind of like, what was that? So is there anything in the script that says he mind?
No, not necessarily. So basically, the what you can't hear from or can't see from listening to the minute is after Casplay leaves, Ongarod and kind of leads Brent down a series of corridors. Specifically, the script direction is a catacomb or complex, as the labyrinth, as the grotto, and white-walled, sourcelessly white-lighted, another twist in the labyrinth, so on and so on. His direction is that Ongarod puts an unwelcome finger on Brent's elbow and guides him to a passage turning left off the corridor's far side. So he's supposed to be directing Brent down a corridor, which I think is what that was supposed to mean.
He puts a finger on his elbow. I mean, how threatening is that? I'm touching you. I'm touching you.
I put my finger on
Well, is that like when you put the pin right on the certain nerve and it does it, so it's the finger on the elbow? Oh my God. Oh, stop.
What I really liked about this moment was we're now in the writing on the wall says tracks 11 through 15. So we know we're in the subway still, right? We could tell from the station above, but with the cathedral, we didn't know that that's where we're back. We're back in the subway station, tracks 11 through 15. What I liked about this is the walls were very, very clean, like we did when we first saw them, Nova and Brent walking into with the sound leading them into the catacombs. But we actually get a sense of how kind of broken down the subway are. We say the church was nice and pristine. We say the
Hall of Presidents.
The Hall of Presidents was nice and pristine. But it's we remark about, well, why is there still lava everywhere? Why is nothing come out? This is still very clean white hallways, but not all of the tile is still in place.
The
It's
tile
kind
is
of
a little
falling apart.
knocked off, a little askew.
But they've gone to an extent to keep this stuff as clean as they can while it's still falling apart. So that's what I came across from this, is we could see them attempting to keep these structures up and open in the best way they can, and realizing now that they can't.
Do telepaths clean subway tile with toothbrushes like the normal person, or do they somehow use their mind to keep it clean?
They use scrubbing bubbles.
Okay.
I mean, they have pristine masks and clothes. I'm sure their cleaning skills are.
Yeah, they
got
to have some OxyClean around there somewhere.
It's just very odd when you go from that church that is what it is, with the oddly clean pews to the really rocky walls, to suddenly you're in this environment where, yes, you're absolutely right, some of the tiles have fallen off, yet it's pristinely white. It's vastly different than what you've seen before. It's a very weird juxtaposition to go from one to the other and not have it at least be that the environmental structure is somewhat similar.
The tiles have fallen off the plaster explodes, but even the plaster itself has a clean appearance to it.
Well, I think you could say if a bomb went off that did what it did and put all the rocky forms around it, that the vibrations maybe knocked some of the tiles off. You can kind of fight for that.
Yeah, I can see it.
It's just...
I'll allow it.
Thank you. It's just a little weird. It's a cool look, and I have no problem, except that it's weird. So we get to a point in this where they're walking down the hallways.
I like how tall Ongarod is compared to Brent.
He's huge.
Now that we're sitting now that we have them standing right next to each other, Brent looks tiny.
Well, we get into it later that when we see him with another person, I'll mention it again when we get there, he's smaller than that person too. But Ongarod gets in this hall, and it's almost in that shot you've got right there, Richard, where he just sort of very bitchily points his arm like this way.
Yeah, he takes his right arm and kind of there's a moment where Brent's like, which catacomb do I go down? Which is supposed to be the labyrinth that's kind of described in the script to a certain extent, but you would know that from looking at this. You just looks like Andro's kind of an asshole, like telling Brent to go here and go there.
At least when we had Taylor in, the weird shackles that put his arms behind the back and he had the thing over his face, they were dragging him along. They were throwing him. I just kind of feel like, why are they so passively now treating Brent like a passenger?
The guards?
Yeah. Why aren't they pushing him along? Especially when we see at the end of the minute kind of where they're taking him to, it feels like they're just sort of treating him like, okay, you're here. Just come on, hang out. We don't have our private shelter for you, but just come on this way. Well,
maybe besides Taylor, all the other humans that they've ever encountered are pretty passive. I mean, if you go by Nova, the way that she acts. So maybe they're not used to having to force somebody around.
Okay, I'll go with that.
So after Ongarod kind of motions to the right, and Brent follows him down, then the camera moves to the other side of what appears to be bars, and Ongarod and Brent now walk past these bars, and another guard kind of comes up from screen left to kind of encounter them for a moment. What I noticed almost immediately, and I know where we're moving in the next, just within this minute itself, is that these bars looked very, very familiar to the one that Taylor was hanging off of in the earlier vision. They are.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. I was like, this is where Taylor was.
The barbs on the...
Oh, that's a good point.
Exactly. What's really interesting is these are iron bars almost. They're cylindrical, each one of these bars. And every probably 12 inches or 2 feet, they have a little ball that has 3 spikes. Mm-hmm. And the point at which we're looking at it right now, all of those spikes are now facing the camera, meaning the side that Ongarod and Brent are does not have any spikes.
Yeah.
So whatever is on the opposite side, it is meant to keep them away from the bars.
It is meant to keep in, and it's kind of terrifying. I mean, those are like barbed wire.
It's like like a magnified barbed wire.
I would totally put this on my gate, around my yard, and keep everybody out.
I find that to be a very, very cool piece of set design, but in that same shot, I get the example again of who the is the tailor for the mutants, because look at the guard with that rippled, stitched damn shirt.
Yeah, he's got a gray suit on with like a yellow undershirt and a cool little helmet over. And then Ongarod, this is interesting. So when the guard approaches them, Ongarod does his head nod, as if we're supposed to hear something like they're telepathically communicating each other, which he didn't do to Brent earlier, but that's what we're supposed to convey. The script direction specifically says, where is it? Let me find it. I know it's not important, but I wanted to read it anyway. Ongarod touching the wall button. The hinge door opens inwards and into. What I like about this is they had to go back to the guard using a key.
Okay, why didn't they go to a telepath and him go and the door open?
We haven't shown them being telekinetic yet. Remember, they
No,
don't have
that
that
is
physical-
true.
they don't have
You're
physical
right.
No, they're just
capability.
telepaths. Yeah.
So at this point, that's kind of around the moment when he tells Brent that he knows too many of their secrets.
Yeah.
What
What the
secrets
hell?
does he know?
Well, first of all, he knows that there's a bomb and that
He knows that they have ugly skin underneath their masks.
But the only reason he knows that there are secrets is because they fucking told him.
Exactly.
Made him be everywhere they wanted to show any secrets.
How
If
can
they
we-
had just thrown him in prison from the beginning, he wouldn't know anything.
How can we hope to let you go on the eve of war, Mr. Brent? You know too many of our secrets.
We never needed Brent to learn this information, and you could have, to your point, thrown him in jail, and we still could have had the church scene where we see it, and Brent just doesn't know it.
Know about it,
And
yeah.
maybe it's then later on when they come to his prison or his cell and they have their skin showing that he's horrified and sees it. We don't need the explanation of he's going, why are you like that? Because we've already seen them peel the face. We have that as an audience. It's at this moment that you again see that this shit is constructed incorrectly.
Yeah.
It's at the 30-second mark of this minute that we get the back of somebody that probably should seem familiar. Right? Maybe?
Well,
We've only got
30 seconds.
16 minutes left in the movie.
How you know too many of our secrets. Ongarod adds like your friend. And here's the back of somebody that we have no idea who it is. I think we know who it is.
I'm going to guess that you're right.
So why is Taylor suddenly clothed?
Well, I was about to say, going back to what Todd talked about, who's the tailor for Taylor? Because he gets a jacket. What the hell?
He gets a jacket, but he gets no shirt because he's still got to be sexy.
You got to show off that chest.
What I like is that
Which, if we're going to show off chests from now on, can we find actors that look like Richard's chest so that it at least looks like a nice chest? But because Taylor turns around, and I kind of expect that he's been drinking about 12 six-packs a day, kind of a little pot-bellied.
his toupee is a little obvious too.
Oh, my God, it's horrible.
It was bad. So 33 seconds. We now cut back to Brent, who's now reacting to the person whose back is to Brent still. It was just a weird, long pause of Brent, was he going to go, Dad? Like it was
Papa,
no, there
can
was.
you hear me?
He should have known that it was. He should have known that it was Taylor and been like, "Holy Taylor!" Like,
Well, I thought even when he comes up to the cage that it made me think back to that moment when they went down in the cave and he sees the telephone, and I kind of bitched about the way that it's staged is wrong because the elephant in the room is that he can see the big subway tracks. That's where he should go to first, and the telephone should be secondary. He stands in this hallway with Ongarod, and we get the whole like your friend. We cut to the shot of Taylor, and Taylor stays on the bars. That you hear you can hear the talking. You can hear all of it. Why is he doing this still with his back to them? He should be coming over going, mother, I know you.
I'm not going to look. I'm not going to look.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look. I promise.
this is one of those moments that should have been Taylor on the ground, possibly in shackles, in a darkened area,
Shadows.
where you can't see him, and the reveal is him coming out of the shadows. Right? I mean, we would have known. Brent kind of should have known, but it should have been more of a. I mean, Taylor's just so casual. He's resigned his fate at this point that his back's to him.
You wanted the Chewbacca reveal in Return of the Jedi.
Exactly.
He comes up and just starts stroking Brent's hair.
Well, how much more powerful would this be if you see his feet just in the pool of light in the middle of a room, and Ongarod says all these things like your friend, and then Brent, because it's in shadow, he may not have seen those feet, but he looks over and suddenly a face leans forward, and he's like, that's when Taylor says, "You're Brent." Then that works. Then that's a powerful moment. And we've had the reveal, but instead it's just he's pulling a James Dean leaning against the wall. Hey, gotta be cool.
He kind of saunters around when he turns around and looks to who's coming, like he's drunk. I mean, it's like
He did seem
what is
confused.
going
Like
on? Yeah.
you're Brent.
I don't know how long he's been locked down there. I don't know much time has passed. Maybe there's a little bit of dementia happening or memory loss. I
They've
don't know.
not given us any relationship between Brent and Taylor. We know Brent was sent to rescue Taylor. We don't know how he knew to come rescue Taylor. But does Taylor have a relationship with Brent? Did they train together? Does he even know him at all?
Well,
the way he says it, though, right?
You're Brent. Like
Yeah,
he
like
knows
that.
him, so he knows him somehow. But you know what? I go back to I think what Sean and I went on about it the first. What if Brent was Taylor's brother or something like that, and he came. Then that becomes emotional.
Yeah.
There's no correlation other than